Hello. Energy consumption efficiency is one of the hottest topics in real estate industry now. And as with any other optimization initiative, it's about three steps: data collection, analysis, and optimization.
We, as Hyperit, we build a special platform that really focuses on solving these four market challenges, giving a very, very powerful tool that goes beyond the naked eye view. And for that, we have developed a managed service called Hyperpower. Basically, this is your own virtual energy manager. With our platform, with our service, you know exactly what's going on, you know exactly why there is an anomaly, and you get recommendations from professional analysts who can tell you this is the issue, this is the root cause of the problem, and that's probably how it needs to be managed. For the owner of the chalet, there was, everything was okay. There were no problem, no symptoms, right? However, suddenly the platform started giving notifications that, so when we implemented the platform and showed them the solution, they said, oh God, we must have had this problem for almost 8 years. We would never understand that there is an issue. We would only understand that there is an issue at the end of the month when we get a gas bill, right? A lot of decision makers are, especially in the area of risk management, are concerned about what's going to happen if there is a limitation of energy supply. But another very important topic, which sometimes people forget, is really about, once the project is launched, sustaining low gas consumption and sustaining energy efficiency is a super important task. All right, let's start. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks very much for joining our today's webinar focused on energy efficiency and breaking free from fossil fuel dependence. I'm happy to greet you from rainy Lisbon. Lisbon is the home of Web Summit, one of the largest IT and technology events. But today I would like to speak a little bit more about another recent event that we participated in, which is Actionable. So my name is Arseniy Tarasov. I'm the CEO of Hyperit. So let's start and discuss this very hot topic about energy efficiency, the fossil fuel dependence, and how we can manage this current situation and challenges. So we expect about 35-40 minutes for today's webinar. I wanted to do a quick introduction of the company and our group of companies, speak a little bit about challenges and trends that we observed during our presentation at Expo, and then speak about what we call energy efficiency as a service, or virtual energy manager, the offering that helps customers to reduce energy bills and energy consumption, but also talk about some specific customer cases that we observed with our existing projects that may help you to understand how you can reduce your energy consumption and become more efficient in facility management and operations. And then we will keep a few minutes for Q&A. Obviously, we would be happy to follow up personally on LinkedIn or email or phone. So don't hesitate to post questions here in chat or in LinkedIn after the presentation. Okay, so let's get going, and a quick introduction of Hyperit and BPS. BPS is an international company with headquarters in Munich, and it focuses really on all three stages of digitalization of real estate, starting from BIM design, then using technology for optimization of construction, and then my business focuses on optimization of facility management, of operations, and energy efficiency. So everything which is related to the built environment when the building was already constructed and now being operated. As we know, if you take the full life cycle of a building, operations may take up to 60% of the overall investment. So it's one of the most critical parts, that the building is designed properly, constructed properly, and then obviously operated in the most efficient way. And Hyperit's mission, and Hyper stands for high performance, as we transform normal buildings into high performance buildings. So that's our key mission. So let me briefly speak about our recent participation in Expo. If you don't know, this is one of the largest industry events which happens every year in Munich. This year it was really, really big. We had over 40,000 visitors. And it was really interesting to see kind of the two main areas of interest of those who came in there and who also presented. So one focus is obviously the new projects and retrofits. A lot of those who presented there were talking about, retrofitting existing buildings, existing districts, even existing towns. But also there was a lot of focus on sustainability and optimization of built environment. So you could really see that maybe 60, 70% were focused on the new stuff, right? And about 30%, 30, 40% were focused really on making sure that what's already built is properly operated. We can achieve sustainability and energy efficiency. That's very, very interesting. And obviously the current trends of energy crisis and prices of fossil fuels and energy is, the real drivers of this interest. At the same time, we spoke to dozens of people at the event. A lot of concerns about potential slowdown in growth, right? And obviously energy crisis, which drives totally different behavior in how companies approach both construction and operations of buildings. One of the interesting things was that the new projects that were introduced use the hashtag follow the sun. It means that they invite Europeans to avoid colder winter in much warmer places like Southern Europe, like Egypt and others. So really, although people are looking for new projects, new investments, there is still a lot of concern about the current operations and energy efficiency. So, and to summarize what we've seen and what we discussed with really dozens of people we met at Expo, I would really condense this these discussions into 4 key topics that we discussed. So first is people do want to optimize energy consumption and they want to be really efficient, but they don't really have enough information to understand how they consume energy internally, right? They have monthly bill, or they have some smart meters that show how much the energy is consumed for the full building, but not how then this energy is distributed internally. So this is a really big concern. Next one is real lack of professionals who can help them to manage the energy optimization, what we call the energy managers, the energy optimization managers. Another concern, which is really kind of a consequence of the first two, is people would love to implement energy efficiency initiatives, but there is a very limited set of tools that can help customers to make informed and qualified decisions regarding energy consumption, but really with a very affordable price and the solutions that could be implemented really quickly, right? We see that everywhere. People say, oh, we have some BMS, we have some data, but getting this data is super expensive. We need engineers and it takes time. And I mean, it's really, really complicated. And another topic which was discussed quite a lot, there was the transformation from the fossil fuels energy to green energy, right? A lot of interest in that area, but at the same time, we see significant lack of resources and also professional expertise in this area. So these are the 4 key points that we heard, and this is where we can really help the market and the customers to realize. So we, as Hyperit, we build a special platform that really focuses on solving these 4 market challenges. And this is the end-to-end industrial IoT platform. I'm not going to go too much into technical details. The idea is that we really build this platform with our own expertise in mind, because we have 20+ years experience in real estate, both in design, constructions, and operations. And we really focused, first of all, on getting the data, on understanding what's going on, and doing it really, really easily, quickly, affordably, and without stopping the existing operation, right? This is super critical. And we're talking about not just 1 parameter per hour or per day. We're talking about really big data of processes that happen inside the building, mostly related to energy consumption and internal systems operations, right? So this is one of the critical things that we put into the platform. Another important thing is this platform. It's like, if you compare the situation that we have now with medicine, for example, with healthcare and the Middle Ages. At that time, scientists couldn't really understand what was going on, let's say, in a cell, because they didn't have tools, they didn't have microscopes, so they could only see what's going on with what we call with the naked eye, right? The same is happening now with existing tools. So we really help to bring a lot of analytics and understanding to the customers by giving a very, very powerful tool that goes beyond the naked eye view. And therefore, we help to build the digital twin of operations. We collect the full digital trail that helps to create what we call the map, right, of operations of a building. And based on this, the platform can provide all the necessary analytics and library of normal and abnormal operations and patterns. Because what normally happens with legacy technologies, when something is already went wrong, when something is really bad, then you get a notification, right? With our platform, when the pattern of operation changes, then you can get a notification. So it's not when something is already happened, but when something is about to happen. So this is an important change. So if we talk about this platform, it's a great tool if you have internally a strong team of analysts, the strong team of engineers who can really get this information and make some critical decisions. So if you look at the solution portfolio that we offer to the market, so the foundation, the basis of that is our hyperware platform. As I said, it's a great tool for your professionals, for your engineers, for your analysts. If they have enough qualification and expertise, this platform brings tons of benefits for getting the digital trail and understanding what's going on. At the same time, we're offering two more types of services. So one type of services, we call it a one-time project. This is related on checkups, on making sure that you can check up your current state and understand what's wrong, what's going on. Another type of one-time project is energy stress test, where we analyze and simulate different stress test scenarios for potential limitations with energy. And last but not least is fossil retrofit. That's where we help customers to transform from fossil energy consumption to green energy, right? And then our kind of flagship offering, our flagship service is what we call Hyperpower. And this is basically energy efficiency as a service, right? It's providing a virtual energy manager who helps to understand what's going on and give recommendations and notifications so that you can run your building, your portfolio of assets in the most efficient way. So this is a very brief description of what we're offering in the market. And now I'm going to go a little bit in more detail. So as I said, Hyperware is a platform which brings tons of value to you, even if you just use the platform itself, but mostly it is a tool for those professionals whom you have on site. So in terms of benefits, I mean, clearly administrative reporting and centralized dispatching service is one of the key benefits that you can get immediately from this kind of service. And this is especially relevant to Middle East customers, where there are specific regulatory requirements about having a digital trail of operations, right? So this could be a very easy to implement, affordable tool to start with immediately. Another important capabilities once we talk about hyperware is obviously having a full and detailed energy consumption digital trail, and then collection of all the big data related to the processes happening in the building. I'm not going to go through all of this, but if we talk about energy consumption distribution, measuring the consumption peaks, right, which is super critical for understanding where you spend more energy when and how this can be reduced, right? Because this immediately has influence on your energy bill. So this is exactly what you can measure and see with this kind of platform. This platform is super affordable. We're talking about 15 euro cents per square meter per year, right? If you talk about the access to the platform, and it's really, really easy to implement. I'll give you an example with the Dubai Delphinarium project. It took us just 3 hours to implement the platform in the first pilot mode. So really easy and quick solution for implementation. In terms of the what you get as what you get in terms of analytics, very informative dashboards, which are obviously can be modified, can be uh, customized as you want. Customization takes minutes or maximum hours, really quickly and easily. And also there is obviously a notification management engine that helps to basically answer 3 key questions: what happened, where it happened, and when, right? And because we built a digital twin of operations, both using a BIM model or a 360 degrees panoramic photograph, we can easily help the maintenance teams to identify the issue and then find it in real life where it is located, right? Because this is really something that we can speed up the process of maintenance. By doing this, you can reduce the need for labor and service technicians on site. This is also an example of how we integrate our platform with CMMS systems so that you can track every work order and that you can close the notifications that are already finished. Okay, so this is an example of hyperware platform. So great tool again for your analysts and for your engineers. However, as we see in a lot of cases, customers do not have their own professionals and engineers and energy analysts on their teams. And for that, we have developed a managed service called Hyperpower. Basically, this is your own virtual energy manager, right? I still remember the song by Depeche Mode was called Your Own Personal Jesus. So this is your own personal virtual energy manager that really helps you to understand what's going on and give specific recommendations what needs to be done to improve energy efficiency. So let me just give you a brief explanation of what it is and how we help to reduce energy consumption and energy bill by up to 20% based on our experience with different customers. So basically, we come and either install our equipment or connect to equipment that is already on site, if that's possible, right? And then we provide you with regular reports, and I'll give you the structure of reports on the next slide. The idea is that it provides all the necessary informations, notifications, and recommendations that are very actionable for your team to take care of, right? I see a lot of presentations from energy management companies saying, oh, we will give you a great dashboards, so you will see an anomaly in a specific building on a specific day. And then the question is, okay, so what do you do with it, right? What is the issue? How can I fix the problem? They say, oh, we don't know. We just know that there is an anomaly. With our platform, with our service, you know exactly what's going on. You know exactly why there is an anomaly, and you get recommendations from professional analysts who can tell you this is the issue, this is the root cause of the problem, and that's probably how it needs to be managed, right? So not only we can identify the anomaly inside the systems, inside the building, but also provide recommendations on how this can be fixed, right? Based on our experience in operations. Obviously, as we implement this service, we also built a digital twin of your building, which has, on the one hand, big data, on the other hand, the anatomy of the building. So these two things combined, brings you a really useful tool for your own professionals, for your own specialists to take care of things quicker, faster, and easier, right? This service starts from 1.5 euros per square meter per year. And obviously we have a free trial period that can help you identify the benefits of the solution. And if you like it, you go ahead with it. Now, quick description of what you're getting in the report. Basically, if you heard about the Scrum methodology, it follows the Scrum methodology, and it basically consists of three key parts. So first of all, it's the action items and recommendations check from the previous day, right? So if we give some recommendations of what needs to be improved, then this is a check of whether this was actually implemented and whether this was fixed, right? The second one is providing the actual actionable notifications and recommendations for today. So what we observed from the previous day and what needs to be fixed. And the reason is that every day there might be some issues, right? So um, the facility manager who comes to the office in the morning gets a report, and while having a cup of coffee, they can look at what's going on and what needs to be taken care of, right? A very convenient service that allows to really focus on what's important and get things done immediately. And then obviously, as a part of the report, you get the full digital trail of the previous day operations, and here are some examples of such reports. So this could be, for example, what we call EKG, or electrocardiogram of a pump or of a chiller, and then this could be a diagram of energy consumption from different sources. I mean, just an example. And now we have still about 20 minutes. I would like to focus on some of the use cases that we have of anomalies and inefficiencies that we found with our platform during the previous projects. So this gives you some sort of flavor of what kind of issues we can identify and find in the operations that really help to save energy and reduce cost. And the goal here of the owners was to really understand how their pumps perform, because this pumps is really the main equipment for making sure that the business is running smoothly, that the animals have proper working conditions, working and life conditions. So this was a great tool for them to understand and get a digital trail of operations of their key machinery. And after implementation, we realized in about a week time that there was, for some reason, a stop, right? An unplanned stop in the functioning of the pump, and nobody knew about it. So that was really a red flag for the team, because they didn't realize that for some reason it's the one of the main pumps stopped for almost an hour, right? And then it continued working. So this was a great red flag for the manager, who then understood there is a potential issue with maintenance, and for them, understanding that there might be an issue with this key technology is a great value. So this was one of the findings from the Hyperware platform. Another example I wanted to give you is about gas consumption, right? And this is related to one of the projects in with the holiday chalet that we implemented. And remember, I spoke about naked eye, about naked eye view. So for the owner of the chalet, there was, everything was okay. There were no problem, no symptoms, right? However, suddenly the platform started giving notifications that for some reason there are spikes in temperature going up and down. So something is wrong with the operation of the gas boiler. But again, from the owner standpoint, everything was good. The temperature was fine. There was hot water, so no problem from that standpoint. But at the same time, the system realized that there is an issue with operation of the boiler. So we realized that the issue was with the pump that was circulating the water in the heating system, and because of that, the boiler operated incorrectly and was overheating water and so on. So really interesting issue that we identified with this platform that allowed us to reduce the gas consumption by 13%, because as you see, once this circulation pump was fixed, first of all, the gas consumption was reduced. You see, instead of having this kind of high altitude of peaks, there is now a normal operation of the gas boiler, but also it was a reduction of wasted water that was dumped in from the heating system, and also obviously there is less risk for operation of this gas boiler. Another example is from a big retail chain, and they have an internal initiative of implementing BIM across all stages of life cycle, starting from design, then construction and operation. So we integrated our platform into their business, into their BIM models. And after that, identified there was an issue with one of the main consumers of energy that was installed in one of the stores. So having a live digital twin and understanding the consumption of that specific equipment allowed the customer to save almost 10% in energy consumption for that device, and that was really heavy consumer of electricity. Another example I wanted to give you was related to refrigeration warehouse. So it was a really big refrigeration warehouse with a minus 18 degrees temperature. However, the customer complained that energy consumption was a little bit too high. So that was one issue. The other issue was one of the chillers that was implemented there was too often in the repair mode. So they didn't understand what was going on, and they asked us to, give them the diagnostics and provide all the necessary information for making qualified decisions. The interesting thing is, with their existing SCADA solution, they could not identify the problem because the SCADA only showed that the temperature is fine, it's minus 18 degrees, no problem, but the SCADA system didn't really show how the chillers behave and how their energy consumption and mode of operation was running at that time, right? So we implemented the platform really quickly in 2 days, and after a certain period of time, we realized that as the first and the second chillers were running as they should, the third chiller, and you can see the diagram right here, was running in a very inefficient and very, I would say, unhealthy mode. So it was turning on and off several times per minute. And this is, really big chiller, really big piece of equipment. So this kind of operation is very unhealthy for this equipment, and that's why it required much more often maintenance and repair on the one hand, but on the other hand, it was excessive power consumption. So when we implemented the platform and showed them this solution, they said, "Oh God, we must have had this problem for almost 8 years." Because when their project was implemented almost 8 years ago, those chillers were the automatics of those chillers were programmed incorrectly, and that caused this strange mode of operation. So as a result, as benefits, right, reduction of energy consumption, they switched the automatics to normal, to proper operations, and that saved them quite a lot of money on actual maintenance and repairs. But also they managed to avoid energy peaks, right? Because if you have start and stop of this huge chiller few times a minute, this is a really big issue and really big load on the energy grid. Another example I wanted to give you, it's really funny, but this is real. It's also an example from one of the holiday chalets, and it had a system of roof melting, roof ice melting system on the top, and those who maintained the equipment just forgot to turn it off for summer, so it was consuming tons of energy, approximately 9 kilowatts of power every day, and they just forgot about it. Right, so we helped them immediately identify the issue and show that this is not how it should be. So that reduced 40% of the energy consumption during the year for this particular system. Another example I wanted to give you is very recent, and it comes from our own project that we've just built near Munich, and this is related to a gas boiler, right? So we significantly reduce gas consumption through implementation of green technology so that gas boiler works just 2 hours per day, right? However, suddenly the gas boiler started working constantly, and you can see it here on the graph. The problem is that without the platform, without the data, we would never understand that there is an issue. We would only understand that there is an issue at the end of the month when we get a gas bill, right? But with the platform, we identify the issue immediately. Although it's quite a new piece of equipment, there was some sort of issue with automatics. So once it was turned off and then turned on again, everything went back to normal. But for some reason, as you can see here on the graph, uh, the gas boiler decided that it needs to work full time all the time and just waste gas, right? So this is absolutely unacceptable in current situation. But again, the platform gave us a great tool. It's like a microscope to identify the issue, right? Another great example of how you can, solve issues with relatively new equipment where it seems that everything should be okay. So these are examples of hyperpower platform inefficiencies and anomalies that we found. I think it gives some illustration of how we can offer you the virtual energy manager or energy efficiency as a service. And there are also two more things I wanted to mention in addition to our main flagship offering. One is the energy stress test, right? And as we see that um, a lot of decision makers are, especially in the area of risk management, are concerned about what's going to happen if there is a limitation of energy supply. We provide a special report which helps to understand what is the current energy consumption by different consumers, by system, by device, by location. So this gives you a great understanding of what if situations, right? It shows different scenarios of energy consumption, but also it provides a simulation of various risk scenarios so that you can mitigate those risks. So basically, we help you build a report with all sorts of data that you can simulate different scenarios. What happens when there is a certain limitation in energy supply, and what can be turned off, what needs to be still running to make sure that the business continues as it should, right? So great tool for risk analysis and risk mitigation. And last but not least, again, as we're very concerned as an industry about fossil fuel consumption, we also developed a dedicated service for switching from fossil fuels to green energy. And one of the examples I wanted to mention is, again, this is the project that we've just implemented near Munich, where first of all, we focused on switching from the gas boiler to heat pump technology, right? And I can tell you that really this kind of retrofit project requires, on the one hand, very strong engineering background and engineering skills and experience, right? Which was achieved in this project. But it also requires a big data to understand that what was planned and designed is really implemented properly, right? So here, for example, you can see that we switched from gas-only heating, right, to heat pump mostly heating solution, where gas boiler only works 10% of the time. So by doing this, we saved approximately 90% of gas consumption in this particular project. So it's a lot, right? And as you know, heat pumps is a technology which is considered green, and therefore it has special green tariffs on the electricity. But another very important topic, which sometimes people forget, is really about once the project is launched, sustaining, low gas consumption and sustaining energy efficiency is super important tasks. And what we realized that although it's new equipment, although it's under warranty, the technology is not yet perfect. I'm talking about heat pumps. So within the period of 6 months, we had nearly 9 breakdowns of heat pump. So for some reason, it would suddenly stop, right? And then the automatics would switch back to gas. So without the platform, we had no chance and no understanding of what's really going on and whether the system performs as it should, right? And with the platform that was implemented, we could see the telemetry and the big data of the everyday operation and make sure that the system performs as it should, right? And there are no, I would say, unpleasant surprises like we had with with the gas boiler when it switched for working full time, as I described earlier. So great tool for, on the one hand, redesigning your heating system, but also then making sure that it performs as it should, as it was designed. So to summarize, once we're talking about energy efficiency optimization, it's all about, understanding the big data and collecting the big data in the most easy, fast, and efficient way. And this is what's done with the Hyperware platform, because we can really optimize, or you can manage what you measure, right? So data is king in this process and in this offering. So once we build digital trail and digital twin of operations, one of the interesting consequences is that immediately the discipline of those who are in charge of facility management goes up, because there is always the track of how the systems performed and how they were taken care of, right? So it really one of the drivers for making operations efficient, reliable, and responsible, right, from the team. And in terms of our offerings, as I said, we offer Hyperware is a great tool for your own professionals and your own analysts. It provides great reporting of obviously big data collection, analytics, and notifications. So this is something that you can implement very quickly and use by yourself. If you don't have on-site professionals and experts, we can help you with Hyperpower offering service, right, which is really your virtual energy manager. And by doing this, we really use our own industry experience, as well as a lot of big data that we collect from the buildings, right? Great tool to make sure that you start reducing energy consumption from day one. If you are looking at the ways of how to understand the different scenarios and mitigate risks of energy limitations, for that we can offer you an energy stress test project. And if your goal is really to switch from fossil fuels to green energy, we're happy to do with you a very complex but important project of, first of all, redesigning your existing heating systems, right? And then helping you to make sure that it's properly implemented and properly maintained in a sustainable way. If you're interested to run one of these projects, let us know. We would be very happy to help you, because now is really the time to think about how you can be more efficient as the winter is coming, right? So, let us know, ping us in LinkedIn or drop us a note, and we would be happy to start implementing the energy efficiency projects with you to start saving almost immediately.